Well, welcome back to Cape Town, to Parliament, where all eyes are set to be focused here this evening as the State of the Nation address is given by our brand new President, Cyril Ramaphosa. His inaugural address, and possibly one of the most important speeches he's ever made. He's been a businessman for many, many years, and I think he's addressed hundreds and hundreds of business leaders and delegates and unions, and you name it. He's done a lot, but I think tonight is going to be one of his most auspicious occasions where the whole of South Africa and perhaps a lot of the world are listening very, very closely to see what is up this new president's sleeve. Well, my next guest here on the program is someone who really put their neck on the line a lot for this moment, and I'm sure, as he has himself stated, is a very relieved man. Jackson Mthembu, spokesperson for ANC. Wow, good morning. I think you must be feeling how I'm feeling right now. I don't know if it's the day, the night. We're all just molded into one right now, isn't it?
Definitely. We are very relieved, and we are happy that we can get on with the job. But of course, let me again just correct that I'm not the spokesperson of the ANC. I'm the chief whip.
How did I say that? Did I tell you now when I said to you good evening that there is a problem here? Jackson, listen to me. I think that this has been a week where South Africa has been confused. South Africa has been on tenterhooks. But how has it been for you? I mean, there have been a lot of closed-door sessions. There's been a lot of moments where, especially in the afternoon of Wednesday, when the whole of South Africa tuned in to listen to what you had to say after those caucus meetings. I mean, talk to us about what was going on.
Well, you will know that we are a caucus of the ANC. So first and foremost, we were resolute on taking forward decisions of the leadership structure of the ANC, which is the NEC, which had recalled President Zuma, that if President Zuma was not going to go on his own after being recalled, then we would have invoked the constitutional mechanisms here in Parliament to do so. But that is history. We know that he has resigned, and again, we know that we needed to put in place here in Parliament mechanisms of what then happens after the president resigns. Yes, we have put those mechanisms. Yesterday we did elect a new president. As you also know, he has been sworn in. Indeed, winds of change are blowing through our country, and somebody in fact tweeted that the country is pregnant with hope. We are then hopeful that there is a better life. There are jobs coming for our youth. There is resolution to the land question, and indeed there is possibility of radical economic transformation. But before you can radicalize the economy, you must grow the economy. We must grow the economy to levels where indeed it can absorb our youth, particularly in the country. We hope that the president's speech will be, how are we going to grow the economy? How are we going to practically ensure that our young people are employed and employable? But more importantly, how do we restore the land back to the indigenous people of our country?
Yeah. I mean, these are all issues I have no doubt that the new President, Cyril Ramaphosa, is going to have on the top of his agenda and needs to address. I just want to talk a little bit more about, I suppose, I mean, you know, a lot of people were talking about how they were feeling when they were watching former President Jacob Zuma addressing the nation. When you heard him speaking, I mean, what was going through your mind as well? Because, you know, with all due respect, I mean, you were an avid supporter of former President Zuma. Things obviously did change, but how were you feeling when you saw him addressing the nation?
Well, the reality is that when he said as a disciplined cadre of the movement, though I might not agree with certain things, but I have taken a decision to resign. I said that's a cadre of the movement. That's a leader of the movement who respects decisions, though indeed he might have issues with those decisions, like all of us might have from time to time. But when the leadership structure of the ANC has spoken, indeed you then have no other option but indeed to adhere to the decision of your own organization. When he said, I am resigning, I was a little bit perturbed when he started. I thought that, probably he is going nowhere.
Yeah.
And of course, you will know that as a chief whip of the ANC, how pained some of us were, including the caucus of the ANC, that we were now going to remove our own leader through the constitutional mechanism by removing him from office through a vote of no confidence. That was pained. I was pained, terribly pained. All of us were pained.
Yeah.
But when he said, I am resigning, I was relieved.
So you really,
relieved.
you really didn't know. I mean, a lot of us, normal South Africans, sit on the sidelines and wonder, is anybody privy to the information? Is anybody privy to what is going to be said by that president that night? Because when Jessie Duarte then stood up and read her speech, and that was like, a kind of tribute to the former president, you wonder, okay, well, they obviously knew. So you're telling me that you didn't know. Did anybody know what he was going to say?
Well, I don't think that anybody knew, because you'll also know that before the evening speech on Wednesday, there was also another speech that he delivered through your medium,
SABC.
the SABC.
Yeah.
Now, of course, it left everybody thinking that, we are in for hard times here.
Yeah.
And all of us were thinking that we are in for hard times. But there was still somewhere at the back of our mind that, by the way, we're dealing with a leader of the ANC here. A leader who has spent so many years of his youthful life, of his elderly life, in the ranks of the movement. Can he really defy the movement? Can he really? But signs of defiance were there, of course, in what he was saying. But somewhere at the back of our mind, there was also this inkling thinking that we think that what he has been and being a leader and a member of the ANC all his life, probably he will adhere to the call made by the leadership of the organization. And like I am saying, when he did so, all of us were relieved. But we didn't know. We didn't know whether he will do so. We didn't know whether he will say, I am not going anywhere. So we really did not know until he said it. That's why as chief whip, I was also glued on my TV, by the way, as I was listening to every word he was saying at night. When he said, notwithstanding everything, I am resigning because I'm a disciplined member of the organization. I was relieved and I was happy, and a few tears strolled down my cheeks.
And I think a lot of South Africans as well. I mean, in that moment, I think there was a sense of sadness, but then, the sun rose, and then we started thinking a little bit more clearly that this is a new dawn, and we as a country are moving forward now at a very fast pace. So very quickly, let's talk about today, because this is the new dawn, and this is the opening of this chapter in South Africa's history of our new president. Is this going to be as big and as a pompous ceremony as it usually is in previous years? Because this, of course, was organized very quickly, even though it was paused, but here we are again.
We are here. Maybe before we even get there, we must thank these roots, very determined roots of our democracy that could absorb these shocks. We are in a democracy. 10 years ago, another president was recalled. The country never banned. People were never killed. Similarly, the same has happened now. A president has been recalled. The country has continued. Our democracy has been able to absorb these shocks of the recall of a sitting president of the republic. So we must be thankful to our people, thankful to our country, but more importantly, thankful to the membership and the supporters of the African National Congress under these difficult times. Because without the African National Congress, I don't believe that we will be able to have such a strong democracy as evidenced by what happened this week. Now, today, the President of the Republic would have loved to leave his office, go straight to the House, and deliver the State of the Nation address. That's what he was pleading for. And unfortunately, he was told that there are certain things that have to happen in the ceremony that precedes the delivery of the speech. But of course, it will not be everything that normally happens, but there are certain things that you cannot do away with. For instance, like the gun salute and other things, the flying overs. So these are the national anthem, the red carpet. There are certain things that you cannot do away with. But he would have loved to leave Dennis straight to the House and deliver to the nation the State of the Nation address. But we are looking forward. And as you said when we started the broadcast, this is very important for him. But it's very important for the ANC as well. You have a president that was elected in December by the ANC delegates at conference, who is now also the President of the Republic. So a President of the ANC, who is also now President of the Republic, on his shoulders rests the implementation of the resolutions of that 54th conference. On his shoulders rests the implementation of the January 8th statement of the ANC that he delivered, by the way, in East London.
Which was almost like a mini State of the Nation anyway.
Yes.
It really was.
What he will then have to say, how do we implement at a government level all these things that we said we need to do? How do we bring land back to our people?
And I feel like that is one of the most pressing issues, which you have mentioned a few times during the interview. Chief Whip, thank you. You look like a happy man, I have to say. I don't know if it's relief or happiness, but whatever it is, let this be a sign that there are good things to come our way as South Africans. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are confident, we are hopeful, the country is confident, the country is hopeful. All of us are seeing winds of change for the better, to our people, to improve their lives for the better. This is what we're seeing.
Jackson Mthembu, Chief Whip of the ANC, thank you for joining us. And there you go. These are the words that you'll be hearing, I think, throughout the broadcast here this morning and the day. The winds of change are here, and we are here to cover it.